Las Vegas, 2019. Millions of eyes are glued to the screen. A 30-year-old fighter, right in his physical prime, is trapped in the center of the ring. He is bleeding. He is exhausted. He is entirely outclassed. But the man beating him to a pulp isn't a young, hungry challenger. It's a 40-year-old veteran. A man 10 years older is moving faster, hitting harder, and completely humiliating the guy who once promised he would rule the boxing world. This wasn't just a defeat. This was a public execution of a legacy. Just a few years earlier, this same young fighter stood in front of the cameras and declared he was the untouchable future of the sport. He had the money, he had the belts, he had the terrifying aura of a king. So how did he end up here? How does a 23-year-old prodigy, destined for legendary status, completely dismantle his own empire? There was a time when stepping into the ring with Adrien Broner felt like a death sentence. He didn't just beat men, he embarrassed them. He possessed a rare, terrifying mix of blinding speed and knockout power, and he made sure you knew it. His mouth was just as dangerous as his fists. He insulted opponents. He mocked them. He broke their spirit before the first bell even rang. And the terrifying part? He backed up every single word. When he stepped under the lights to fight for his first world title, he didn't even break a sweat. By the third round, he trapped his opponent against the ropes, unleashed a vicious right uppercut, and shut the lights out. He was crowned a king, but he was just getting started. He moved up in weight to face a battle-tested Mexican champion. People thought this would be the test. People thought he would finally face adversity. Instead, he put on a masterclass of violence. He broke the champion down, battered him into submission, and forced the corner to throw in the towel. At that point, it looked like nobody on earth could stop him. He was so confident, he made a decision that would terrify most fighters. He bypassed an entire weight class, jumping up 2 divisions to fight a reigning champion. The opponent was bigger, stronger, more experienced. It didn't matter. He walked into Brooklyn, went to war for 12 rounds, and ripped the title away. At just 23 years old, he was a champion in 3 different weight classes. He was sitting in the top 10 pound-for-pound list. He was a superstar. But invincibility is a dangerous illusion. To the fans, he was flawless. But behind closed doors, a very different story was unfolding. Whispers started circulating in the gyms, rumors of missed training sessions, strange behavior during fight weeks. Then, the warning signs spilled out into public view. He would win his fights, but he would step onto the scales and fail to make weight. Not once, twice. He was stripped of his titles before he even threw a punch. His team tried to cover it up. They blamed his metabolism. They blamed his natural growth. They moved him up to heavier divisions to hide the problem. Nobody wanted to admit what was really happening, because as long as he was winning, the millions kept rolling in. But you can only cheat the sport for so long. A disaster was brewing, and he was walking right into it. San Antonio, 2013. It was supposed to be a routine defense. The odds makers had him as a massive 5-1 favorite against a rugged, unpolished brawler named Maidana. Everyone expected another highlight reel knockout, but the moment the opening bell rang, the illusion shattered. The challenger didn't respect his aura. He rushed forward like a wild animal. In the second round, a brutal left hand exploded against the champion's jaw. His legs vanished. For the first time in his professional life, the Golden Boy crashed onto the canvas. He survived the round, but the invincible armor was gone. He was bleeding. He was panicked. In the 8th round, he went down again. He was brutally, mercilessly beaten for 12 straight rounds. The judges took away his belt, but he lost something much more valuable that night. He lost his fear factor. And in the wake of the devastating loss, the ugly truth finally surfaced. The missed weights, the sluggish movement, the sudden lack of stamina. It wasn't his metabolism. It was the VIP sections. It was the endless late nights It was the alcohol. He was living the life of a rock star and expecting to fight like a warrior. His ego convinced him his talent could outwork his absolute lack of discipline. It would prove to be a catastrophic mistake. A devastating loss can do two things to a man. It can wake him up, or it can bury him. The greats use humiliation as fuel. They lock themselves in the gym and rebuild. He did the exact opposite. He doubled down on the chaos. He embraced the nightlife, the scandals, the arrests. His pure God-given talent kept him relevant for a few more years. A flash of brilliance here, a hard-fought victory there, but the slide had begun, and he couldn't stop it. The men who used to fear him were now hunting him. He suffered brutal, humiliating defeats to fighters who simply outworked him. He became a stepping stone, a recognizable name for disciplined fighters to add to their resumes. Which brings us back to that night in Las Vegas. Standing across from a 40-year-old Manny Pacquiao. He wasn't there to win. He was there to survive. He barely threw punches. He hid behind his guard, while a man a decade older proved what a lifetime of dedication actually looks like. Shortly after that public embarrassment, he announced his retirement. He surrendered. He had all the physical gifts God could ever give a man. He had the speed, the power, and the charisma to build an absolute empire. But physical tools cannot survive a weak mind. He chose the flash over the grind. He chose the bottle over the heavy bag. He built a kingdom with his fists, and then he burned it to the ground with his ego. History is full of men who conquered the world. But what happens when the only opponent you can't defeat is yourself?